All right. Are you guys ready to do this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Wait, one
Let's
quick
go.
question. Oh,
Yeah.
No. Can we try to trade up or no?
Hell yeah.
That's chaos.
The
That would go
Falcons
very
would
well.
like to trade. The Falcons would
Yeah,
like
that
to
would be
trade up.
insane. All right. We've made it. Everybody is here. I am super appreciative of all of you guys for hopping by on the mock draft tonight. We have 32 plus people ready to make a bunch of picks for every team. We'll go through it. You guys will get a chance to meet it for everybody that's watching on the live stream, including somebody that is presenting some like bird noises in here. That's great. My name is Ben Heisler. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Benny Heis. Is my pal Daniel Moltz. He's going to be keeping track of all the different picks so that we can go through and run through this as quickly and as fast as possible. After you go ahead and are up for your pick, you will go ahead and explain it if you want. If you just want to say this is my pick, that's perfectly fine as well. And then the good stuff, pass it along. So for me, and Daniel, I don't know if you have your shot ready, but this is El Mejor tequila. It was what was on my bar at the time. And so I am saluting to all of you guys for being a part of the mock draft tonight. Also for everybody that is an essential worker, salute to all you guys as well. Daniel, you toasting anybody before we get this kicked off?
No, right back at you, Ben. I'm just going to take my toilet shot right here. I've got my tequila with a worm in it. They say it brings out the flavor. So cheers to you and cheers to everyone else.
All right, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Brad Evans, you're officially on the clock. Brad Evans, follow him on Twitter at Noisy Huevos. He's on Sirius XM. He's on Altitude TV. He, of course, a fantasy Hall of Famer. Take it away, my friend.
I believe everyone starts off muted, so if you guys want to unmute.
Brad, you are muted. There it is.
Apparently, I've had too much tequila already. But the Bears are idiots. They should be drafting in round one, so I'm going to honor them with the lid. But I am drafting for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to give a shout out first to all the healthcare workers working the front lines right now during this crisis. All the nurses, all the doctors, all the support staff, your efforts, your tireless dedication, your fearlessness match the demeanor of this quarterback at number one overall. That is one Joe Burrow. Salute to you.
Joe Burrow off the board. You know, Brad, really quickly, I was expecting a little bit of chaos. I figured with you at the number one spot, you were going to maybe go Chase Young. Maybe I thought you might go Tua. Was it just hard set you had to go Burrow here and everybody else would laugh at you if you didn't?
Burrow's the guy. I mean, his passer ratings across the board were impeccable last season. He's more than a one-year wonder. He's a dual threat quarterback. He's exactly what this Cincinnati franchise needs. The upgrade over Andy Dalton. Hopefully get AJ Green back and healthy to go along with Tyler Boyd. Joe Mixon. I think he's a surefire lock to be the number one overall pick. And according to sports bettors out there, he's minus 10,000 to go number one. So I think he's that L word, that lock more than anything else.
Perfect. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Let's go to Diana Rossini. She of ESPN. There is no atom bomb. There is no Woj bomb. Breaks NFL news. It is Dynamite. She's, of course, one of the great NFL insiders, and I'm proud to have her on from the Awful Announcing podcast as well. But Diana, thanks so much for hopping on and being a part of this tonight.
Gosh, that nickname is worse than Tampa Brady, but I will take it. If anytime my name can be near Woj or Adam, but we all know I'm a very, 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 very poor woman's version of all those guys. Happy to be here. I enjoyed the shout out to all the healthcare workers, especially I live in the northern New Jersey area where this shit is so real. So I would like to double down there and acknowledge it. I think that's awesome. And we should definitely be thinking about them as much as we're entertained by all this. And it's getting all of us through everything, at least through some of the difficult times. And it's purely great entertainment at this point for everyone. So hopefully the fans will love this tomorrow when it's real.
Absolutely. So with the number 2 pick, you of Washington, who are you taking?
Oh, I would love for Washington to just make a Washington Redskin move. We know that they struck out with their quarterback move all the way. Football still tell you don't have it. So maybe they'll go quarterback. Are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? No. Washington's changing their ways. Ron Rivera's running the show. They're going with the best player in this draft. And he's also probably going with the player with the best nickname in this draft, and that's the Predator. So the Washington Redskins select Chase Young.
Chase Young off the board at number 2. For the next pick, we head to a good friend of mine in the Kansas City area. For many years, he was just the people's champ, but that's changed ever since he became an insider at Yahoo Sports. My man is now the corporate champ. You can follow him on Twitter at Terez Paylor. Read his work. Check out his podcast with Charles Robinson. Terez Paylor, you have the number 3 overall pick, my man. What's good? I think Terez is muted. You might be muted, my friend.
There's no way that the NFL.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, it sounds good now. Thanks for having me. I hope everybody out there is doing well. And I hope that the NFL draft would be a nice distraction from a lot of things going on in the world for anybody.
Wanted to create a platform to showcase all of the knowledge and reporting and analysis out there. So it was a great experience.
So with the number 4 pick, you have the New York Football Giants. You, thankfully, are representing them instead of Dave Gettleman. So what are you going to do with the 4th pick?
And I tried to go with the Dave Gettleman set in my office. Didn't do that, but I have the old school Dave Gettleman headphones on right now. It might be hard for him to bypass the sexy pick that is Isaiah Simmons, but they got to fortify the offensive line. And it's just really a matter of which offensive tackle, assuming that they keep this pick. And I know that with Jedrick Wills, there's all the Alabama connections with Joe Judge, but just all the pre-reporting I'm hearing from reporters that I trust, I think it's Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa. I think he's the most athletic of the tackles. He can play right away. And yeah, that's the Giants pick.
Tristan Wirfs is a slight surprise offensive tackle off the board as he goes to the Giants. This now brings up Marcus Grant of NFL Network and NFL.com. You, my friend, have the Miami Dolphins at number 5. Still multiple quarterbacks on the board. Marcus, where do you go here? And thanks a lot for being on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, well, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate the chance to be in the company of so many smart football types. So first off, a shout out. I mean, as Brad mentioned, certainly all the frontline workers, but a shout out as well to the teachers, the childcare providers, and for those of us who have children, especially young children, and are now trying to balance the everyday work with also trying to like keep the kids entertained and informed and all that kind of stuff. Look, I had mad respect for teachers and childcare workers before. It is on a completely different level, especially now that I've got a toddler who's learning to walk and my head is constantly on a swivel around the house. But that being said, over the last couple of days, it feels like the Dolphins have been sending out more misdirection than a David Copperfield show. This whole thing began for them with hashtag tank for Tua. And yes, they won more games than anybody expected. But in the end, it still ends up that the guy they originally sought out to get is going to fall into their laps. And as they continue this rebuilding process, get a guy with high upside and especially one that has some mobility behind a still developing offensive line. So I'm going to go right here with Tua Tagovailoa at the number 5 pick for the Miami Dolphins.
Salute. Tua is off the board at number 5. Marcus, thank you. Number 6, the LA Chargers are on the board. John Daigle writes for Roto World. You can find him on Twitter at NotJDaigle. John, make your pick for number 6. Where are you going here?
Am I muted?
No, you are on. You are good.
Then we're already winners today. I will six-tuple, a phrase I just had to Google right now, my appreciation for frontline workers. And I will quickly go because it was going to be one of 2, right? Whoever Marcus did not select is what the Chargers, I'm assuming, will do. So I guess I'll go Herbert, despite the fact that perhaps he isn't the best player to take at this position, but he still has his over-under of 5.5. So I think it's the obvious choice. And hopefully I didn't screw up Lefko too much next.
All right. Justin Herbert, we got 3 quarterbacks in the first 3 picks. John, I appreciate it. Next up, you know him as Adam Lefko. Of course, follow him on Twitter at Adam Lefko, he of Bleacher Report, and of course, the NBA on TNT on Tuesday nights. Friend of the show, friend of the Awful Announcing Pod. Adam, I appreciate you being here, man. What's good? And you are on mute.
I'm an idiot. So happy to be sharing this with you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. I don't want to keep stepping it up, but I will say being here in Manhattan, shout out to just everyone in New York right now that we're figuring it out. We're passing by each other in the street. I don't say hi, but I look you in the eye and I might give you a wink. My pick for the Panthers at 7. It's a completely different franchise. Ron Rivera's gone. Cam Newton's gone. Greg Olson's gone. Luke Kuechly's gone. This is the new identity. And I'm going to equate them to the shot that I'm taking. This is a player that early on you loved, and eventually, apparently, you became too cool for because they're falling to 7. And that's Malibu. Nobody likes Malibu anymore, but I'll still drink Malibu because it's good. And the Malibu of this draft is Isaiah Simmons of Clemson. Luke Kuechly is gone. It never spoils. Malibu, delicious.
The Malibu of the NFL Draft 2020. That's well done by Adam Lefko. Isaiah Simmons now off the board, number 7 to Carolina, which brings up Anita Marks, she of ESPN and the Daily Wager. You can follow her on Twitter at Anita Marks. And as soon as I can find her, and hopefully she's unmuted, Anita, you have the number 8 overall pick. Where are you going to go? We may not have Anita Marks, actually. Well, in that case, we get to pivot. And that means that somebody gets to make 2 picks.
Let's take Jedrick Wills because Elliot has money on Wills going top 8. And then I'll feel better about it tomorrow.
Everyone, universal thumbs up. Jedrick Wills. Thumbs down. I see a handful of thumbs down. Connor's giving a thumbs down. Marcus.
Well, Connor wants me to lose money all the time, so Connor doesn't get a vote. I'm not really sure. Guys, things are hard out here, man. I'm not sure how I feel about you guys all rooting for me to lose money.
The very first time that anyone can swoop in, Elliot has to get his way. I mean, I'm not on board with this at all. Give him CD Lamb.
I'll make it.
Give Kyler his way. Give Kyler his way.
I've heard from insider sources, the 2 that I have, I'm nowhere near like everybody else here, that if Brown's on the board, that's going to be the pick at 8. I'm sure someone here can tell me I'm an idiot, but
no, I'm gonna go ahead and allow it for purposes of time. So Jedrick Wills off the board at number 8 to Arizona, making the pick for Anita is Elliot on her behalf. And now we bring in one of the members of the Ball Blast team, Michelle Modric. You can follow her on Twitter at Ball Blast. And Michelle, she of the one half of White Claw Nation. Where are you going to go with the Jaguars at number 9?
Hey, I moved up my class style to cider right now, so you should be proud. It's not White Claw.
Okay.
But
very proud.
I'm going with a kind of crazy pick here. I'm going with Henry Ruggs, wide receiver from Alabama, which you all know. The speedster. I think their wide receiver group is slacking there. I do love some DJ Chark, but besides that, they just cut Marquise Lee. They have D.D. Westbrook, who is not great. So put a speedster in with DJ Chark, who's already super fast as well. That speed will just help Minshew grow. And he could be the Tyreek Hill of that offense.
Very Ruggs off the board. I think you could probably win some good money if you choose Henry Ruggs as your number 1 wide receiver off the board. In fact, I think on DraftKings Sportsbook right now, there is a prop that you can take him, I think at plus 180 over Jerry Jeudy to go first. If you believe that'll be the case, you can go ahead and turn that around depending on what state you might be living in. Up next for the Cleveland Browns, a staple in the fantasy community. One of the great follows, you can follow her on Twitter at LizLoza_FF, she of Yahoo Sports. And she is up for the Cleveland Brownies. Liz, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. This is my kitchen, by the way.
Lovely.
I never really spent a lot of time in here until 5 weeks ago, but welcome. And so I am drafting for Cleveland, which, there's a couple of ways we could have gone here. Adam very wisely selected the versatile Malibu-esque Isaiah Simmons. I think that in order to preserve Baker Mayfield and prevent him from seeing the apparitions, because Sam Darnold owns all the ghosts that he did last year, particularly towards the end of the season, they're going to need a big body, probably more on the left side of that line. And so I am going to give them Andrew Thomas. He's a run blocker, improved in pass protection as well. And I think that is the pick for Cleveland. I also, y'all drinking tequila. hello, let's a little bit of fireball, because that's a fire fucking pick with an ice cube to cool things down. And Michelle, you always got to chase with a White Claw. What's up, Cleveland?
That might be hard to top. Liz, great stuff. Moving on to pick number 11. Yeah, that was well done. Really quick, for those of you that might just be joining us a little bit late, here's a look at the draft board so far. You have Joe Burrow going number 1, selected by Brad Evans. Diana Rossini took Chase Young. Jeff Okudah by Therese Paylor, the corporate champ, over to Detroit, followed by Tristan Wirfs to New York. Miami took Tua Tagovailoa, Harry Carey's favorite name to say. Justin Herbert, the other quarterback off the board by John Daigle, to the Chargers. Isaiah Simmons by Adam Lefkoe, the Malibu of the draft. He goes to Carolina. Jedrick Wills to Arizona. Michelle took Henry Ruggs as the first wide receiver off the board. And of course, you just heard Liz take Andrew Thomas. You've heard his voice frequently because he's trying to win you a lot of money. He's currently writing for 4x4, the former product manager over at the Quant Edge and one of the sharpest dudes around the fantasy, DFS, and sports betting industry. He is my pal, Elliot Christ. Elliot, I probably think that you're not muted at this point, but go ahead and hop on and make your pick.
I would like to repropose trading down, because after that Liz pick, and the shot and everything else, I don't know if I can really top what she just did. So, everyone said a shout out to the healthcare workers, and I want to reiterate that. Also, TJ Hernandez is here. I've made his life miserable. A big shout out to honestly for you for doing this. Is really cool for me. So I'm going to take the tackle out of Louisville, Mekhi Becton. I know he's got the diluted sample, but if he could bring steroids, it'd probably help the Jets next season. So maybe we get a couple more guys doing a little bit more good. But with a deep wide receiver class, let's get the wide receiver in the second round and take the last, top offensive tackle prospect in this draft.
Mekhi Becton off the board at number 11. We now move on to Vegas. And a better opportunity for somebody that is starting out with something exciting. It actually works out really well, except I think he'll be a little bit more successful than the Las Vegas Raiders, and that is Graham Barfield. He was part of the new fantasypoints.com that just got started, I believe, yesterday, at least launched to the public yesterday. So, Graham, congrats on the new venture. And at number 12, where are you going to go?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for having me on there. And I am also on Team White Claw. I mean, there's only one team you can be on, with Michelle and Liz for that. But yeah, this board fell to me perfectly. I think the Raiders are in a perfect spot in the draft to get their number 1 wide receiver of the future. And this board fell perfectly for me here. I'm going to take Jerry Jeudy at number 12 overall. He is by far the number 1 separator among receivers in this class. And look, CeeDee Lamb is fantastic and very good after the catch. But Jerry Jeudy, to me, is the best route runner to enter the NFL in quite some time. And I think this would be a slam dunk pick for the Raiders if it were to happen tomorrow night.
Nicely done. Jerry Jeudy, the second wide receiver off the board, also the second wide receiver from Alabama. We move on. I believe he's on the call. If not, we will figure out what to do with his pick. He, of course, from Pro Football Focus. He's a great follow on Twitter as well, at PFF_Mike. And a former Bachelor contestant, where I feel like he got unfairly taken away far too soon for all of us. I'm not seeing Mike Renner. Am I missing out on Mike Renner? Do we see him and I'm missing out? Is he here? Well, just like The Bachelor, he also left this stream a little bit too soon as well. Let's go ahead and bring on the guy that's doing 14. Ian Hartitz, you're going to get 2 picks here. Ian Hartitz from Roto World and NBC Sports. Great follow on Twitter as well, at iHartitz. Ian, you got 2 picks, man. You got San Francisco now because Renner failed to show up. And you also have Tampa Bay. So you have 2 pretty interesting offenses that you can either add to or shore up some of the defenses as well. Where do you want to go?
Easy money. We got CeeDee Lamb going to the 49ers. And just because I want to watch the world burn, let's have Jonathan Taylor go to Tampa. I don't want to have to wonder if a 4th-round running back is going to beat out Ronald Jones. I want Jonathan Taylor. I want him to have 300 touches in a Brady offense, and I want to watch it, from the friendly confines of my couch on Sundays. So here we go.
I don't think there's ever been a more elite pick than a guy subbing in for a PFF guy and then taking a running back top 14. That's elite.
That's well done. That's all done. I'm glad Jonathan Taylor ended up making it into this draft. And I'm also glad that he went ahead of Swift too, because he's a Big Ten guy, and I will salute out to that. So Ian goes CeeDee Lamb at 13 to San Francisco. Jonathan Taylor goes 14 to Tampa Bay as the Bucs. We can say that they reached for a running back, but I say screw that. Up next with the Denver Broncos pick, you can read his work over at 4for4 and also check out his podcast at Move the Line NFL. He's a follow on Twitter at Connor Allen NFL as well. Connor, you have the 15th pick for the Broncos. Where are you going to go?
Yeah, I'm not going to get as crazy as Ian did just there with Jonathan Taylor, but a guy who's fell down the draft board here. It may not be the biggest need for Denver, but I'll go with Derek Brown here, defensive tackle at Auburn. His over-under is sitting right now at 7.5 or 8 even in some spots. So I think this is a steal here for Denver. I expect John Elway to run in and turn in that ticket even from his computer.
Derek Brown off the board at 15 to Denver. I think a lot of people thought they might go wide receiver, but with the way that the board checked out, no wide receiver left. 16, Atlanta. This is a very interesting team, and for that, we bring on a very interesting personality, Lauren Carpenter. You can follow her on Twitter at Stepmom Lauren. She of the Fantasy Football Ballers. Hello, Lauren. Who are you going to take at number 16?
Okay, I wanted to just blow up this entire draft, but I thought I kind of want to make friends. So I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is I'm going to address the Swiss cheese defense of the Atlanta Falcons. So you know what? Thank you so much for taking Derek Brown, because that leaves me the number 2 in the SEC last year for tackles for a loss, number 6 in the SEC for sacks. Give me Kayvon Chason, please. And shout out to Liz for parenting, streaming, answering questions all at the same time. Shout out to Kate for being a healthcare worker. We really appreciate all of your work. Shout out to my mother. I haven't seen her in a while. And a big shout out to my husband, who puts up with me on a daily basis. I don't know why or how he does it. Thank God.
Kayvon Chason off the board at number 16. Lauren, I appreciate it. To 17 we go, the Dallas Cowboys. This guy's a staple in the fantasy industry. Great work over at 4for4, and you can follow him at TJ Hernandez on Twitter. TJ, you have the Dallas pick. Where are you going to go?
What's up, boys and girls? Joining the White Claw team over here. So I know that the chalk right now is Dallas going defense, but if anybody's going to do something crazy, it's going to be Jerry Jones. And I think that they're just going to try to overwhelm opponents with their offense. And to add to that, 4.4 speed Justin Jefferson out of LSU. And with that, a shot of mezcal, guys.
I like that play. I actually like both of those plays with Jefferson going to Dallas and the mezcal as well. Good stuff, TJ. Moving on to number 18. So far in this chat, he has been the voice of God, but you can follow him on Twitter at Sigmund Bloom and also read his work over at footballguys.com. Sigmund, you have pick number 18, the second one for the Miami Dolphins. A lot of very intriguing names on the board for Miami, but where do you go here?
Yeah, I wanted to say, as voice of God, like a real genius reference, Kent, stop masturbating. A lot of options here. And this is what's exciting. If you do a mock draft as Miami, it's exciting to deploy all these picks, and I'm really twisted up in knots. But let's go for some symmetry here, because really I should be making a pick for my Pittsburgh Steelers. This was supposed to be their pick, but they traded it for Minkah Fitzpatrick. The best trade of the first round trades. They're going to get the most value for their first round pick. And, well, let's replace Minkah Fitzpatrick with Xavier McKinney. Another Alabama defensive back who can play in the slot, who can play free safety, who can play in the box. So Minkah Fitzpatrick didn't want to do it. Xavier McKinney should. And I've got Screwball peanut butter whiskey, which is also excellent over ice cream, by the way.
Sounds really good. Screwball, that's the name of it? You can finish the shot before you're
done.
Yeah,
find it in your local Costco. And also I want to say shout out to postal, delivery, grocery store workers, Costco. These people also putting themselves at risk so we can still have whiskey and other things.
Thank you, Sigmund. Up next, he, of course, of the Daily Roto and another Chicago guy. So salute to him, being a neighbor of mine from way back in the day. Great follow on Twitter at rssandersdfs. Ricky Sanders, what's up, pal? Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, although you gave me the less sexy Las Vegas Raiders pick. Jerry Jeudy was the one that I wanted to select here, but I must say The board has fallen pretty nicely here for a Raiders team that we heard today the mayor wants to open up Las Vegas. And the thing that certainly was open for the Raiders last year was their secondary. They basically have one starting quality corner left, and that's Trayvon Mullen. I think with Jonathan Abram coming back that they're going to be comfortable with their safety because there is another safety available here, but best guy available on the board is clearly a corner here. Give me CJ Henderson. And not going to be taking a shot here. I feel like a boomer, and I'm probably one of the youngest of the bunch. But on a 20-pound weight loss plan for my wedding. But if this were my wedding night, I would not be drinking water. I would be drinking Jack Daniels. Just not tonight, unfortunately.
That's good stuff, Ricky. CJ Henderson off the board. The number 2 corner goes to the Raiders with their number 2 pick. We'll do one more and then we'll take a look at the board. But at pick number 20, another pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And for that, we go to RotoWire's Mario Puig, who you can read over at RotoWire and follow on the tweet machine at Mario Puig. Do we have Mario on the stream? Are you there, Mario? Don't think we have Mario. Well, good news then is we'll take a quick look at the draft board before Matthew bets. We'll make the pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. So picks 11 through 20. I guess we still need to figure out 20. So Matthew, you're going to pick for Jacksonville as well. Elliott goes with Becton out of Louisville to shore up the offensive line. Jerry Jeudy falls to Graham Barfield with the Las Vegas Raiders. CeeDee Lamb, actually the 3rd wide receiver to go off the board in this draft, followed by Jonathan Taylor at 14 from Ian Hartitz. Derek Brown goes to Denver, followed by Kayvon Chasen with Atlanta. Justin Jefferson to Dallas. Miami has Xavier McKinney, and then CJ Henderson going to the LA, or not the LAV. It's like it's screwing me up. So it's the Las Vegas Raiders going to number 19. Moving on to pick number 20 and 21, we have my buddy Matthew Betts, he of the Red Shirts Fantasy Football Podcast. Great follow at the Fantasy PT. And last week we did a bunch of NFL props leading up to the draft, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And Matt has been on a nice little run recently when it comes to making some coins. So Matthew, the floor is yours for the next 2 picks. Where do you want to go?
Yeah, I want to be really exciting with these 2 picks, Ben, but unfortunately I can't. I was selecting in my head the entire time to the Eagles, Justin Jefferson, and of course TJ had to screw that up for me, so I'm really upset about that. But let's start in Jacksonville. They took their wide receiver in the top 10 there with Henry Ruggs. They need a running mate for Miles Jack. I'm going to give them Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma. Absolutely a playmaker on the defensive side of the ball there. And then for my second pick here with my Philadelphia Eagles, again, we need wide receiver, but Howie Roseman, if this is the real draft, he would have come up to take CeeDee Lamb. I have it in my head. It's going to happen. I believe it in my heart. And if it doesn't, I will cry. But with that being said, there's no wide receiver here in this tier for them to take. So I'm going to go ahead and shore up the defense with another linebacker. Let's go ahead and take Patrick Queen out of LSU. Absolutely a stud there in the middle of the field to make good plays there on the defensive side of the ball. And like you all said, shout out to all the healthcare workers, shout out to all the frontline employees. And Ben, salute to you for putting this together, man. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you for being here. I believe, because I think the over-under at LSU players taken in the first round is 5.5. We have Burrow, we have Patrick Queen, we have Justin Jefferson. So I believe we have 3. Am I missing one? We're getting close. Is there a 4th LSU Tiger? We can get back to that in just a little bit, something to keep track of. I'm very excited to bring on this person to bring on the pick for the Minnesota Vikings. She is a longtime friend, fellow IU grad. She, of course, doing outstanding work over for ESPN, hosting on ESPN Radio, and covering the Vikings for ESPN. It's my pal, Courtney Cronin. What's up, Court?
Hey, how are you? Is my internet
good?
Connection okay?
Yeah, it sounds good. Everything looks all right.
Been having some issues with it. Story of everybody's life, but yeah, I'm hoping I'm going to set up Charch at 25 here with the direction that I'm going to go with this pick. Vikings could go a number of different ways here. They have a lot of needs, as we know, in the 2020 draft. They've got to figure out how they're going to replace Stephon Diggs. I personally think you can wait until day 2 to do that. But cornerback and offensive tackle are still really big needs for them to address in the first round. And the way that the board fell, don't think it really surprised anybody that the top 4 consensus offensive linemen were gone by, I believe it was the Jets at 11. So I still see that Josh Jones is out there, the tackle from Houston, and the Vikings have an opportunity, not knowing truly what's going to happen with Riley Reif even this year or beyond that. Nearing the end of his contract, he's 32 years old. He has a very, very high cap hit and salary for this year, so they've got to start building out that 2 to 3 year plan at left tackle. So bringing in a prospect like Jones allows you to do just that. Let him season himself essentially in the offense for a year, get better in pass protection, work on his hand placement, work on his footwork, essentially serve as an understudy to Reif. And then next year in 2021, if and when the Vikings move on from Riley Reif, he could fill in one of those 2 tackle spots. You could move Brian O'Neill over to left tackle, what have you. Or in the short term, you could use him as a stopgap player inside at guard, because they certainly need a lot of help on the interior. So I'm going with Josh Jones at 22, offensive tackle out of Houston. And I'm kind of under the weather, so I know this is a little lame, but I'm drinking water thanite because I want to try to kick whatever I have before the draft. My shout out goes, again, echoing the words of many on this live stream. Thank you to all the essential workers, the people who have kept restaurants open, the people who are working in pharmacies, grocery stores, putting themselves at a lot of risk so we can try to maintain some sense of normalcy throughout all this. So cheers to them.
Awesome. Thank you, Courtney. Great stuff. Great pick. And awesome to see, just even after working together in college, all the success that you've had so far. So salute to you for that. Up next, another favorite of mine on Twitter. You can follow her at Jessica_Smetana. She of Sports Illustrated, she the meme queen. And also she did threaten to take that gigantic baby with a pick today. I don't know if she's going to follow through with it, but I am very curious to find out. Hi, Jess. Welcome to the live stream and welcome to the mock draft.
Hi, thank you for including me in this. I feel very honored to be among people that I follow on the internet that are much smarter than I am and know a lot more about the NFL draft. I would like to give a shout out to White Claw, which is what I'm drinking tonight, for giving me everything that I've been missing about normal life. I just drink a White Claw and I feel like I'm back in a bar in New York watching college football, and it's nice. So shout out to White Claw. Ben, when you told me I was drafting for the Patriots, I thought you were kidding, because I openly hate the Patriots on social media. I'm a Steelers fan, and I obviously wish nothing but ill will towards their entire organization. So I asked you if I could sabotage their draft, and you said that that was fine. There were no rules. Lo and behold, everyone has had very serious and well thought out draft picks. So I feel a little bad, but I do have to make my pick now, which is everyone knows the Patriots lost a huge member of their organization this year, someone whose name has been synonymous with the Patriots for years, someone that you can't picture playing anywhere else but on the Patriots. So I'm obviously talking about Stephen Gostkowski. And in lieu of that, I have to go with my pick, who is Rodrigo Blankenship of Georgia.
Yes!
The Bulldogs. He is a kicker. Everyone knows Bill Belichick loves punters, so why not choose a kicker in the first round? And so congrats, Rodrigo. Welcome to New England.
First round kicker off the board. I probably just woke up my son because I was very excited for that pick. Thank you for sabotaging the Patriots.
Am I the only one that thought she was drafting a white slot receiver?
Everybody should have to do a shot for that.
We can probably do that. Everybody that sticks
Fair
around
enough.
for the end of this, we can absolutely make that happen. So yes, Rodrigo Blankenship. Daniel, no, he is not on the consensus top 40 big board. So you might have to go ahead and just enter that manually.
Just type it hot rod.
Jess, thank you. At number 24, this guy has been doing all sorts of great work for the mock draft season leading up to tomorrow. You can follow his work over at The Sporting News as well as on Twitter at Vinny Iyer. Vinny Iyer has the 24th pick in the draft, and I believe he is here with us. I'm trying to find his screen. Vinny, what's going on, man?
Not too much. It's strange to be making a Saints pick from Charlotte, that's for sure. Panthers country, but I guess Teddy Bridgewater and Joe Brady are here, so we might as well send the love back to New Orleans. And they need a lot of love in New Orleans. I know New Orleans and the state of Louisiana has had a lot of trouble with this pandemic that we're all battling through. So hopefully the first round of the draft, the entire draft, brings all the Saints fans down there in New Orleans and all of Louisiana some joy there on Thursday night. And the Saints, we know they have a first round pick. We know they don't have a second round pick. So we got to jump in and get the quarterback now that we want, because I don't think he's going to be there in the third round. Drew Brees, it's not looking like a very well-kept secret that this very well could be his last season. Time to groom a quarterback for him. They lost Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think Taysom Hill's the answer. So we're going to go with Jordan Love, quarterback, Utah State, 6'4", 224 pounds. A lot of upside. I think he's going to do really well with the Sean Payton coaching, be groomed there, learn behind Drew Brees. So Jordan Love, looking to the future in 2021 as the starting quarterback for the Saints.
Outstanding. Jordan Love there. I will like to say that if Ryan Pace was still in the New Orleans, here would have been Jake Fromm. And I'm not bitter at all about watching the 2017 draft the other night on ESPN as a Bears fan, but we can move that and I can drink that away a little bit later over the course of the night. So Vinny, thank you. Enjoy the pick on Jordan Love. I'm very excited to welcome on this guy. This is somebody that helped me become interested in fantasy sports. Been listening to him for a long time through his work from 670 The Score when he was doing hits in Chicago, and now one of the staples, been a staple for a long time in Minneapolis, and a guy that I've been fortunate enough to work with several years over the last few years as well. Paul Charchian, the Hall of Famer, is with us, and he gets the second pick for the Minnesota Vikings. Charch, good evening. It's good to have you on here, man. Appreciate your time. And you are on mute. Oh, that introduction, and I screwed it up. It's the button like right. If there's a white microphone button, do we have it? Did we lose Charch? Oh. All right. I'm gonna give Charch, because he's been here throughout most of the night. So I want to give him a quick second to get back on the stream, because I feel like I owe this one to the Hall of Famer. Other than, obviously Blankenship, guys, that was a little bit off the beaten path. But for the most part, I think this has been a draft that's kind of gone the way that maybe a lot of us thought it would. Any random crazy surprises, any picks that you love, any picks that you guys really didn't like from this board? And feel free to go ahead and weigh in while we wait for Charge to come back.
I would say that, and I know I've not shut up enough on this podcast, but CJ Henderson going 19 is the best pick of the draft. Like, he's not going to be there. Like, there's his over-under went from 16.5 to 12.5. He went from 701 to plus 125 to go top 10. He's going much higher than that. So I would say that he's the best value pick of the draft so far.
True. And I think, Elliot, I also saw your article about how he's a value pick to go and move up to the top 10, along with, I believe, Caleb Von Chasen. And sometimes cornerbacks and edge rushers tend to go up fast. Charch is back. We have you, Charch. Are you ready to go? All right, I see him, and his microphone is on, but it might just be cutting out. Charge, you there?
Charge, type it out.
There we go. How about that?
Hey!
Yes. It worked. Of course. It's funny. I'm working the whole time, and then my browser just collapsed moments as Ben is introducing me, because that's how life works. First of all, hey, it's great to see so many people here that I normally only see at the FSGA convention. So in light of the fact that we may or may not have an FSGA summer convention, it's great to see all of you industry people, and hopefully we'll be able to see each other perhaps next time in January for our winter conference. We've acknowledged most of the frontline workers already, but one person that hasn't been acknowledged yet is Tyler, my Amazon delivery driver. That guy is really, really important to me right now. So Tyler, thank you very much. Ricky, you gave a little homage to Jack Daniels a minute ago. Man, that is just liquid garbage. I don't even know what you're thinking right here. 4 Roses, baby. We got to up your game, Ricky, because Jack Daniels, come on, man. That stuff is terrible. You're a grown man. It's time to move on. This isn't college anymore. And Courtney nailed the first Vikings pick with Josh Jones. That was the correct pick here for her to take. We're going to go with the other big need the Vikings have. The Vikings lost their number 1, number 2, and number 3 cornerbacks in the offseason. We are going to start filling that need with, I think, the consensus number 3 cornerback in this draft, Christian Fulton from LSU. Elite ball skills, good recovery speed, plays physical the way that Mike Zimmer wants to play. And I think he would be an obvious choice for the Vikings were he available at pick number 25.
All right, so Fulton is off the board. Thank you, Charch. Another LSU Tiger off the board as we continue to get closer and closer to that over-under of 5.5 that I may or may not have put some money on. But again, a conversation for another time. The other member of the Ball Blast team, she is taking the 26th pick overall in the draft and one of many Miami picks. She, of course, is a frontline healthcare worker. So we salute her over the course of the show. Also another proud member of White Claw Nation and a great follow on Twitter as well at FF Ball Blast. It is our friend Kate Maju. Kate, what's up?
What is up? Oh my God, this is a hard choice because Ben, I don't know if you know this, but there are a lot of holes on the Miami everything, offense, defense, doesn't really matter. I was hoping that I could get an offensive tackle here because I'm still looking to replace Laramie Tunsil because I still can't figure out why that trade was executed. Somebody should have failed a physical to like halt that trade mid-trade because it didn't work out. You know what? Courtney took Josh Jones, which Courtney, not cool. But he was that sort of last upper echelon offensive tackle that I really want to bolster my offensive line. We've got a quarterback. I think the quarterback needs a outstanding running back to lean on in his rookie season. I am going with J.K. Dobbins. My running back too. You took my Jonathan Taylor from me. Dobbins was extremely productive in college, and then you also have the upside of what he can do in the receiving game. Help Tua, man. We gotta get this boy off the ground. So cheers to J.K. Dobbins. Cheers.
Cheers to Dobbins at 26. That's an outstanding pick.
I do have one thing. So we have been cheersing to healthcare workers. We've been cheersing to lots of other people. Cheers to sanitation people because we're all disgusting and all we're doing is throwing White Claws in the garbage. Hopefully recycling. But also cheers to Matthew Betts. He is a fellow healthcare worker.
That's right.
I believe physical therapist, not occupational therapist. Pediatrician.
Yeah, you got that right. Thanks, Kate.
Yeah. Shout out to Matthew Betts for continuing his work with his patients. That is so important to their everyday lives. So
wait, can I squeeze in here? I'm like the only one that didn't say thanks. And like this girl is dealing with this pandemic like no other, having to educate patients and keeping their kidneys alive. And I feel bad I didn't say that before. I missed my opportunity, but I want to say it now.
Awesome. Thank you guys. It's a great pick, and Kate and Matt, thank you guys both for continuing to do amazing work. We are almost at the final end of this draft. I know we've gone a little bit longer, but for those of you guys that have stuck around, I'm super grateful. We only have 6 picks left, and this next pick, this is his team, so I'm excited to see where he goes here. One of the best beards in all of fantasy. You can follow him on Twitter, shockingly enough, at Dynasty Beard. He has the picks for the Seahawks at 27. That is John Helmkamp. Johnny, what's good?
Let me click that button first. Thank you so much, Ben, first and foremost, just for including me in this. There are so many people in this room that I have the utmost respect for, have been following many of them for a long time. This is just an awesome opportunity. So I'm really floored to be here. I echo the sentiments of everybody. These are very strange and crazy times. And for everyone that is prioritizing the good of the general population over their own individual well-being, that is as noble as it gets. So thank you so much to everyone that is sacrificing. I'm going to continue on a little bit with stepping up the whiskey game, just a touch from Jack, but the Jameson Caskmates is my baby tonight. This is the drink of the evening, so I'm thrilled about that. Sitting here for the Seattle Seahawks, first and foremost, if I do have a personal brand, that brand is Jonathan Taylor. I am as in love with him as it gets. So personally, that he's not available for the Seahawks, it hurts my heart. As a Jonathan Taylor truther, to see him go that early, yeah, boy, let's go. I'm in love with that. And honestly, the no risk it, no biscuit Bruce Arians down there in Tampa Bay going and getting Tom Brady and then pairing him with the top running back prospect. I don't know. There's a part of me that says that could potentially happen. I don't think it will, but that whole mentality of just like, we're going to send it. We've got Tom for 2 years and we're going all into the middle of the table. It could potentially happen. So for Seattle sitting here, I'm going to keep this run going of running backs because they have Chris Carson coming off injury, entering the last year of his deal as a 7th round pick. I don't think that he's going to get extended. They have Rashad Penny, who has been a major disappointment as a 1st round selection. They need running back help, especially with both of those guys coming off big injuries. The fact that he's sitting here when J.K. Dobbins went ahead makes me scratch my head a little bit. Kate, sorry, love you. But I'm going to go DeAndre Swift. I'm going to go the versatile back that's great in short spaces, has really good burst, makes people miss like crazy. I think that he would be a natural selection as a type of running back that can overcome poor offensive line play. I'm going to go DeAndre Swift here to Seattle.
It's a good pick, John. And again, it's a shame that Seattle doesn't use their running backs enough. So really, just I don't know what they're gonna. I don't know what they're gonna do with them. Frankly, I'm not sure how this is gonna weigh out. And ultimately, listen, maybe if he gets like 5-7 touches, that would be ideal. But no, the move makes a lot of sense. Up next for Baltimore, you can read him over at RotoViz and follow him on Twitter at CPatrickNFL. Good to have Curtis Patrick on the mock draft tonight. Curtis, what's up?
Benny, thanks for putting this together, buddy. 32 people on a live draft has actually gone off without a hitch. So other than Charge forgetting the web address for a minute, but he redeemed himself with the 4 roses single barrel there. So I thought that this would be the pick that I would make from 101. I knew this guy would be here. It's kind of a boring pick if you're like into fantasy football. But look, you've got a first contract quarterback who obviously, we've got the designed runs in Baltimore. We've got the broken play, scrambles. There's nothing better than a pass blocker, run blocker who can get to the second level. This guy's been the top center in the country since high school. He started for Michigan as an 18-year-old freshman for about a third of the year. Cesar Ruiz is my pick at 28 for Baltimore. I had a bunch of different drinks lined up depending on which team I would draw and who the picks might be. I had the Jeffersons ready for Justin Jefferson. If I was really excited about the pick, I was going to make a 12-year-old knob joke. I had the Colonel E.H. Taylor. Had I been able to draft Jonathan Taylor, really frustrated by that one. And I actually would have taken him for Baltimore. But with it being Ruiz, I got to go with the 1800 tequila. So cheers, everybody.
That's an outstanding job. Curtis Patrick from RotoViz and now our resident mixologist when it comes to the fantasy world. That's well done. And again, just everything was really well lined up. Salute to you, man. Up next for Tennessee, we have Ben Gretsch from CBS Sports and Fantasy Football Today. Also on Twitter at Yards Per Gretsch. Ben, I appreciate you sticking around for this, man. It's good to have you on the show and good to be drafting with you tonight, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Yeah, the Titans are kind of a boring team. They have kind of boring needs, so I thought I'd spice it up with a little quarantine stash. And I actually am the exact opposite of Curtis. I don't actually – I drink a little whiskey, but I don't usually have a lot in the house. So my wife was doing a grocery pickup this week and was going to pick some up for me for this, really. And she asked, is Jack okay? And I said, yeah, sure. So we're drinking some Jack tonight, and I probably haven't had it since college either. But the Titans need an offensive lineman, potentially a tackle specifically after losing Jack Conklin to the Browns. But they did sign Dennis Kelly or extend him, and it looks like they're probably going to make him their answer at right tackle. They could certainly use some defensive line help after Jarrell Casey. They just kind of traded him for sour cap relief to Denver for a 7th round pick. But they also lost Logan Ryan this offseason, although I believe he's still a free agent. So they do also need some help at cornerback. That is the position that they have done the most meetings with, virtual meetings, what have you. And Jeff Gladney from TCU was the guy they met with at the Combine and did a virtual meeting with. I think he will be the pick if the board shakes out this way for Tennessee at 29. Cheers.
Okay. Thank you, Ben. We move on to Green Bay. This guy, speaking of whiskey, I would imagine based on his anticipation for this evening, he might have started several hours ago waiting for the Green Bay Packers to pick at number 30. But this is one of my favorite guys in the fantasy industry, an outstanding follow on Twitter at Debro_FFB. Debro, welcome to the party. You have the Packers. You have whiskey. Where are you going?
What's going on, Ben? Thank you so much for putting this together. This is fantastic. I mean, you got a murderer's row of sharp football minds on this. So for the cheeseheads, I'm actually taking a shot of honey whiskey. It's the only, I got to stay on brand. I mean, of course. But before I get to my pick, shout out to every essential healthcare worker. I'm actually going to go the route and salute to my awesome and amazing wife on this one, who is a veterinarian, and all of the people that are still in the trenches taking care of all the tiny, furry little things close to our hearts every single day. Salute to them, vet techs, veterinarians, all of them out there. This is for you. So for the cheeseheads, I think it is going to be a wide receiver. It's not a question of position. It's a question of who falls to them. And right now, there are some red flags with him not being an early declare, but we all know in the NFL, speed kills, and this guy crushed the Combine. It's Denzel Mims. That is who I'm going to go with for the Packers. He can win outside. He can win deep. This is a guy that is going to be blazing in the NFL. So salute.
Salute, D-Bro. All right, before we get to Michael Florio and Fensty to round out the picks, let's take a quick look back at the board, go through 20 through 30. We have Kenneth Murray.
Ben, who'd you pick again, man?
Ben Gretsch, who did you pick at 29?
Sorry, I was on mute. I took Jeff Gladney from TCU. He's a cornerback. I'm not sure if he's on the board, but he should be.
Awesome. Jeff Gladney now off the board, but he goes on this board at 29. So Jacksonville went with Kenneth Murray. That one was chosen by Matthew Betts, who then followed up with Philadelphia to take Patrick Queen. Courtney Cronin of ESPN took Josh Jones, the offensive tackle from Houston. Jess Montana decided to have some fun and take Rodrigo Blankenship. I don't know. It could have been a serious pick, or maybe she wasn't trying to sabotage the Patriots. I don't know. I can't read her mind, but I do really like the pick. Going back to pick number 24, as I get this loaded up again, we have Jordan Love picked by Vinny Iyer for the New Orleans Saints. Charge went with Christian Fulton for Minnesota with their second pick at pick number 25. Kate went with J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State to Miami with their third pick in the first round. John Helmkamp took DeAndre Swift, the third running back off the board. Man, that's crazy considering where Swift is going. If you're looking to try and place a bet, I think right now he's minus 150, 160 at places as the first running back off the board. A lot of people thought he might go to Kansas City. Turns out 3 running backs off the board in this fantasy and fun mock draft. Last out to round up 28, 29, and 30. You have Curtis Patrick taking Cesar Ruiz, followed by Ben Gretsch with Jeff Gladney, and then Denzel Mims from D-Bros. 2 picks left, guys. I know this has been, we maybe teased this as a half hour, but I still feel like this has flown by. So to round out pick number 31, the second pick in this round for the San Francisco 49ers, we go to an outstanding follow at Michael F. Florio. He of NFL Fantasy, Rotoballer, and Fantrax. In that order, Michael Florio is with us making this selection. What's up, Michael?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me, Ben, and thanks for everyone for participating. This has been a lot of fun. I'm hoping to take a receiver here, but getting CeeDee Lamb at their earlier pick, who can argue with that? So I'll go in a different direction. I'll take Trevon Diggs, Stephon Diggs' younger brother, the cornerback out of Alabama. I think he is a good fit there for the Niners, can slide in, give him some secondary help, and kind of take over as Richard Sherman gets a little up there in age. We know he doesn't have much time left in the league. And I don't have any Niners gear or any White Claw, but I guess I have the next best thing for each. A Giants shot glass and Truly. So That's what I'll be drinking tonight.
That'll work.
That'll play. That'll play, Michael. Good stuff. And then this is the guy that I wanted to round things out. One of my favorite people in the fantasy industry. His shirt might have a Blockbuster tag on it, but that doesn't mean that he has gone out of style or out of business. You can hear him late nights on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. He is the one, the only Justin Fensterman to choose for the Kansas City Chiefs. Fensty, what's up, man?
What's going on, Benny Heiss? And thank you so much again for putting this all together. And while we're thanking everybody, I want to thank everybody not only on this stream, but also to everybody that's watching this stream, because it's up to us to keep sports alive right now. It only goes away if we let it. And it's up to us to keep that ball rolling, or in this case, get it right to the end zone. Because even though it's a terrible time right now, sports is somewhat of an escape for some. For others like us, it's a career. And with that, we're going to keep things moving and getting our live action back in the other sports. We'll get there, but for now, it's up to all of us. And I want to thank everybody for keeping sports alive and running, because that right now is a great escape for obviously everyone with what they're dealing with.
Salute, Fensty. I love the pick. I love the choice, but you still have a pick to make for Kansas City.
I do.
Where are you going to go?
I'm going to go with obviously the champs. Pretty set on offense, but what about defense? This guy is so explosive. I really love him. AJ Epinesa from Iowa, the defensive end, first team All Big Ten last 2 seasons. Just they need the help. That's a guy who could just power right through lines. And with that, guys, unfortunately, I'm going to be on the air in a couple hours, so I got to keep the signal clear, keep it sober. So I got a mix of seltzer and blue Mio. No, it's not hypnotic from what everyone may remember in college. But I assure you, at 2 a.m. Eastern time, I'm going to take 2 shots and I'm going to drink 2 tall White Claws, because I am a big-time supporter of Team White Claw. Cheers.
Salute, Fensty. And you know what? I'll go ahead and take one on your behalf. You guys, it is not – we've basically gone just under an hour. We've gone through the entire first round. And – I'm super thankful to have all of you guys on with us, making these picks, going through it. Yeah, Curtis, go ahead. I know you wanted to weigh in before we say goodbye.
I did. I mean, thanks for putting this together. I'll weigh in again, but
I saw the hand raised thing go up, and it said Curtis wanted to speak. That's okay. Seriously.
No, I've just been tapping my mute unmute, pretty much the whole time.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. It is now 8 Central, 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern. Enjoy the draft tomorrow. May all your bets hit wherever you guys are playing. Thanks for being a part of this. Salute to all you guys. And again, salute to all the frontline workers and essential workers. Cheers to everybody. Thank you guys for being a part of this.
Thanks, Benny. Love you.
Appreciate it, Ben.
Yeah, thanks. That was fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks a lot.